Infant feeding can be really stressful. Is my baby feeding properly is a question we hear over and over again. Spending time to listen and really hear a parent is so important, as is understanding what's normal and what's not. Now, there are 4 key areas to a feeding history. That's feeding, peeing and pooing, vomiting and weight gain. Here are the questions you need to ask to make sure you take a really excellent feeding history. Let's start with some questions about feeding itself. Is the baby interested in feeds? Are they breast or are they bottle fed? How frequently do they feed? And how much are they taking in? Now, volumes are easy to quantify in bottle fed babies because we can see what's in the bottle. These babies should feed about 150 millilitres per kilo per day from about day 4 of life until they're 6 months old. It's really easy to overfeed a bottle fed baby. You see, a newborn stomach's only really small. On day 1 of life, it's the size of a cherry. That's about 5 millilitres, about a teaspoon. By day 3, it's increased to the size of a walnut, but this is still only 30 millilitres or an ounce. By a week, it's the size of an apricot and can hold 60 millilitres or 2 ounces. And by a month, it's the size of an egg, so about 150 millilitres. This is small. To get a feel for the volume of milk a breastfed baby's taking, ask how long the baby's actively sucking for. It should be at least 10 minutes, but can take anywhere up to about half an hour. A mother's milk comes in around day 3 or 4 of life, and once it's in, a mum can tell if the baby's feeding well, because the breast will feel firm before feeds and softer after a feed. Explore more around the frequency of feeds, but understand that this can be really variable. Some babies take easily to a routine with feeds every 3 to 4 hours, while others, particularly breastfed babies, may feed more frequently, maybe every 1 to 2 hours, with fewer feeds overnight. Once you've asked about feeding, then move on to peeing and pooing. How many wet nappies is the baby having a day? Now, normal's around 5. And ask about pooing. Every baby has their own pattern, which can be with every feed or up to just once a week, particularly in breastfed babies. Parents really worry about the colour of their baby's poo. For the first few days, it will be black and sticky. This is meconium, it's completely normal. After that, it will be yellow, orange, or sometimes green. These colours are all also completely fine. It's not normal if it's white or grey or bloodstained, and these need further investigation. After peeing and pooing, I then ask about vomiting. It's important to remember that physiological reflux is normal, so almost half of babies vomit after feeds, and as long as their weight gain is good and they're otherwise happy, it's nothing to worry about. Physiological reflux settles by the time the baby can sit when they're about 6 months old. Find out about the timing of the vomit relative to the last feed, and explore red flags that something more serious may be at play. These are things like poor weight gain, or if the vomit's projectile flying over a parent's shoulder or hitting the wall. This might be an indication of pyloric stenosis. And if the vomit is green, a spinach colour, this is bilious and this is a sign of an obstruction. Finally, spend time exploring the baby's weight gain. All neonates will lose weight, about 10% of their birth weight, and they should be back to this by the time they're 2 weeks of age. Good weight gain is about 180 grams a week initially, which I remember by thinking 30 grams a day except on Sundays. Plot as many weights as the parent has on a growth chart. Is the baby following a centile? If so, this is really reassuring and can be used as a really nice visual guide to show a parent that their baby's feeding is okay. If the baby is crossing up centiles, this could mean that they're being overfed. But if they're dropping down centiles, this suggests there is a feeding problem, and this is something that needs to be explored further. Taking a feeding history is more than just exploring feeds. It covers peeing and pooing, vomiting and weight gain too. I hope you found this video useful. I'd really love to hear your experiences of taking a feeding history.